decision to make of his own this summer. The four-time champ unfollowed the Warriors on Instagram this weekend. And Draymond Green was among the countless that noticed. Take a listen.
I think it's hilarious. Just so y'all know, I laugh when I logged on here and Jackson's like, yo, so what about Klay? I'm like, what? Like, what happened? He's like, oh, he unfollowed the Warriors. I think that's comical. I know you all be wanting like somebody's feelings to be hurt or something. It ain't that, ain't never gonna be that. That's hilarious.
I mean, Richard Jefferson doesn't follow any of us on social media.
Does he not?
We feel sorry for his
I'm blocking him.
It might be the company. Do you think that it's realistic, Zach, that Klay Thompson we could have seen him play his last game with the Golden State Warriors?
First of all, we're absolutely chopping it because this is Klay Thompson. This is a Hall of Famer, four-time champion, one half of the Splash Brothers, the greatest backcourt probably in the history of the NBA. Of course we're chopping it. I want these guys, as a basketball fan, Steph, Draymond, Klay, go out in the sunset together.
Great.
But maybe Klay Thompson doesn't want that. Maybe the Warriors don't want that. They're both at a crossroads right now. Klay's going to have opportunities for more money or maybe more winning. I don't know what his driving motivation is going to be. But I do think there's a chance that there's drama here. I think there's hurt feelings here between Klay and the Warriors, and I think he's open for business.
Oh, now we want to chop it. I've been talking about chopping it up all season long when it came down to trade. Klay, I thought they should have traded him at the trade deadline because we knew this was going to happen, and all of a sudden he's showing how he really feels. He felt disrespected by the offer that they gave him, watching everybody else get $100+ million. I think Klay is out.
To me, what spoke is that Draymond Green, normally when we see him public, he's riding with his brothers. This is the first time we're saying, oh, this is comical. Typically he comes to his brothers.
He had a special breakfast with his son Deuce, but now he needs to turn the page ahead of the biggest game in TD Garden since 2008, and he told me that all his energy is focusing on avenging the last time that they were on this stage.
Being on the precipice of a championship is something that's been years in the making. You were there and you fell short. How often are you thinking back to that feeling?
That's always in the back of my mind. I vividly remember how I felt in that locker room on the drive home, when I got home, the days following. Really that entire summer, it crushes you. And, you know, now to 2 years later be in the finals again and have an opportunity to be on the opposite side of that feeling, it's been a hell of a ride.
You've been to 5 conference finals. This is your second NBA finals. And so that means there's this expectation that starts to build. How do you process all of that now?
People think I've been in the league a lot longer and I'm a lot older than I am. I just turned 26. But it is a privilege that people expect a lot out of you. It means I've been doing something right for a long time. As bad as people want to see me finish a job, I promise I want that 100 times more.
Tatum, nice feed, and Brown throws it down. The two young stars connect.
How important is winning finals MVP to you?
It's important, but it's not like the main thing. Isaiah Thomas didn't win Finals MVP every time. Tim Duncan didn't win Finals MVP every time. Larry Bird, Steph Curry only has one. Kobe won 2 out of 5 championships. As a competitor, you want to win and accomplish everything in front of you.
Absolutely.
But I would not the slightest bit be sad, you know, that I didn't win Finals MVP. I would be ecstatic just to win the finals.
For years it was Jalen, Jason, whose team? What's misunderstood about the relationship between you two?
I just think because it didn't work, in the sense that we didn't win a championship. When we were knocking on the door, people just assumed that something had to be wrong, that there was a problem. Instead, that these were 2 young men trying to figure it out. As a society, we want everything like right at that moment. And you know, hopefully that we get this done and it would all make sense. That we had to go through everything that we went through, all the failures, all the tough losses, people saying that one of us should be traded. It just brought us closer together and understood that we needed each other more than we ever thought.
Really nice introspection there from Jason Tatum about all of this now that they are one win away from winning that elusive banner number 18. But I want to go back to what he said about finals MVP. I thought that was really honest, saying that it does matter to him, but it's not the end-all be-all. Perk, what do you think of what he said there?
It should matter. I mean, it should matter. As a guy that want to be great and cemented in greatness and be, you know, in a conversation with so many other greats that won finals MVP, like, you want to win individual accolades. Anybody tell you anything different, they're lying, right? Like, it was times I wanted to make the All-Star team. That was one of my goals. I didn't get that done. Is it being selfish? Hell yeah, but it's okay to being selfish. Look, when you have a bigger goal at hand, you're going to tend to reach smaller goals getting to that bigger goal. And Jason Tatum, he should, you know, want to win finals MVP. Like, that should be something that you want on your resume.
So what is the most valuable version of Jason Tatum, Zach?
Well, the one that made first team All-NBA this year. And I thought Jason Tatum hadn't shot well in the first 3 games of the series, but I thought he had played really well defensively, rebounding, playmaking, screening, all the other stuff that leads to winning. And you just think the shots will come. At some point, the shots got to go in. I hate to simplify basketball to just like the shots go in or they don't. If you're a superstar player, that's just the reality. At some point, for them to get over the hump in this series, they need him to make actual baskets, and he's shooting 36% in this series. At some point, that's got to turn. And I'll say this, like, finals MVP, that's cool. It's an unbelievable honor. It means so much historically. The end of Game 3, which got super dicey, and the shellacking they took in Game 4 should be a reminder. You got to win the thing first before you start worrying about any of that. You got to win the title first.
Yeah, I agree, but don't you guys feel it? We were in Dallas for a couple of days, right? Now we're back in Boston. Everyone here feels like it's on the precipice, like they're ready to win a championship. I think that prioritization is okay for Jason Tatum. I understand the need to be selfish as an athlete. Yes, we have all these goals, all-star, MVP, champion, all of those things come together, but at the end of the day, if you are one game away from a championship, if he doesn't have a perfect game, but he makes the best plays for his team to win, that matters most today. That's what people here care about right now.
No, that's what they should care about, Janae. But guess what? If Jason Tatum win finals MVP, that means they actually won the championship, and it was because of him setting the tone. And the reason I put so much pressure on Jason Tatum is because you look at him and Paul Pierce's relationship. Paul Pierce has passed the torch to Jason Tatum. Paul Pierce was on a team that was stacked full of players. He played alongside Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen, but I'd be damned if Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett was going to get in his way of winning finals MVP. He was determined to be the best player on the floor in all of those series, especially in the finals going against Kobe Bryant. I'm not putting added pressure on him, but at the end of the day, it's definitely a great thing to have the finals MVP in your back.
But I think what he explained so astutely to Malika is that that timeline may not be now. It might be for years to come, because if we're looking at the Celtics squad, they're stacked.
Yeah, but Sinead, here's the thing, though, sweetheart. You don't know when you're going to get back to this place or if you're ever going to get back to this place.
But once you're a champion, and all the noise stops forever. You got to do that first.
Right.
You're talking to a champion.
I know I'm talking to a champion.
And Perk says mic drop. Standing in their way, though, is the Dallas Mavericks. And if they can build on what we saw last game, we might be headed back to Texas. Kyrie Irving will be looking to improve on his last trip to Boston, right? He averaged just 14 points in the first 2 games of this series. He went 0 for 8 from 3. Irving has lost 7 straight games in TD Garden. So here's what he had to say yesterday about coming back for Game 5.
I mean, let's just call it what it is. When the fans are chanting Kyrie sucks or anything, they feel like they have a psychological edge, and that's, fair. I think in order to silence even the self-doubt, let alone the crowd doubt, but the self-doubt, when you make or miss shots, that's just as important as making sure that I'm leading the team in the right way and being human through this experience too, and telling them how I feel.
Being human has really been a through line for Kyrie Irving and how he has spoken to us throughout these finals, how he is trying to deal with this Boston crowd. But what do those latest comments tell you, Shanae?
I think that he's walking in more confidently. This is the first time when I got back to Boston, left the hotel, I turned the corner, I saw people with Celtics t-shirts, and I saw one shirt that said, Kyrie sucks. That is not easy to see. That is not easy to internalize. As good as you are of a basketball player, this is one of the roughest environments. But now he has 29 points per game in the last 2 games on his back walking into this arena. That confidence, to me, carries over. It's hard to start games 1 and 2 in an arena, in a fan base where things weren't resolved well when you left.
FU Kyrie chants literally pouring down.
Thank you. But now when you go back to home, you're able to build more of an offense. You're able to build more of a confidence.
Yep.
Now you walk back sort of feeling like a different person. I think that will affect his game 5.
The great thing about it is that the Mavs and Kyrie, they have zero pressure coming into this game. All of the pressure is on the Boston Celtics the rest of the series, real talk. So they're coming in a free Kyrie Irving that has zero pressure, and you asking them just to go out there and play the game of basketball.
That's true.
With so it's like, damn, do you really want that?
Do you really think it's zero pressure? Because you know what it's like when you go back to your home previous team. I was a member of the LA Sparks. I went back to Connecticut, and it was boos for me. We were not on this stage.
How could anybody ever boo you?
Let me tell you, we finally made good with the Connecticut. But Perk, it still stays with you. And one thing that Scottie Pippen told me when he worked at ESPN is the boos show you care. It shows that the fans care. That's because you have talent. But it still is going to affect them. It's like, I don't believe that there's just no pressure on Kyrie. There's major pressure.
The boos are a compliment. They're Maddie left. They're still Maddie left. The boos aren't going anywhere. But I love the way Kyrie played in Dallas. He was super physical on defense. There were times where he was the matchup on purpose on Tatum and Brown, and he got into their bodies, got into them chest to chest, and he's like, dare the refs. You're going to call this every time? Because if not, I'm going after them. He pushed the pace. I thought the Mavs winning the transition game was a huge part of them in Game 4, and he's got to come with that energy and that sort of just predatory, like I'm going for your throat on every drive mindset
that
to win.
Combined with the fact it feels like we still haven't seen that Luka Doncic game quite yet. I know he's battling through a mountain of ailments at this point. Makes me think, okay, potentially could we see a Game 6